And what? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ladies Tale podcast. And I'm not going to go on and on and on about the wonders of recording in progress. Oh, I lied. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited it says recording in progress because I never have to be like, is it recording? Did I mess up? Did I start wrong? And you know, the funny part about this is I'm saying that and I know on this recording it says 1 and then I start talking. So I still messed up with recording in progress. Maybe it's not the best invention ever. Maybe not. No, it's still good. It's still good. Anyway, I'm Wilona and I remember to introduce myself. So high five to me. I wrote books along with a bunch of other ladies. We have And I Thought Divorce Was Bad and I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy. If Only I Were Me, a memoir in verse. Widow's Dad, Widow's Web, Foreign Coffee. That's 6. Yep. We have 6 audiobooks. You can check all of those audiobooks out along with the other 11, which comes to a grand total of, drum roll please, 17 books at www.andithoughladies.com. Because I have to say .com like I'm selling you a used car. I don't know why, but I just have to. But you're not here to hear. Oh, I lied. I jumped way ahead in my little script. I have a co-host today. Co-host, would you like to introduce yourself?
After that, I don't know. I don't think I can compete with all of that energy. I am Tanya Todd. I'm an author, actress, and the host of the 52 Love podcast.
Thank you. You know, look how professional Tanya is today. Like, she came with the red lips and the red shirt and the nice background. And I'm like, so I got a bow. Does that count? But you're not here to hear about
me. It's red.
That's true. You're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Lauren Willams. I am a talent and literary manager at Link Entertainment in Los Angeles. And I'm actually currently based in Alabama.
Okay. What and why?
Well, when COVID happened a year and a half ago now, my family's all here and I decided I didn't want to sit in my apartment and work from home by myself. So I trucked myself out here thinking it was going to be 2 weeks, and here we are a year and a half later and I'm still here.
Well, it's kind of good that you did so that you weren't alone all of that time.
Yeah. And, you know, we've really realized that we can do these jobs from anywhere as representatives and do them successly. So it's actually been quite nice to be near family, which I haven't been in over 18 years. It's been quite a nice year and a half, and who knows how much longer it will be.
Did you grow up there? Because I don't hear a twang.
I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. But my family, my sister and her husband moved to Huntsville, Alabama about 11 years ago. Then my parents moved out 2 years ago, but I've been in California for 18 years. So the twang kind of has faded. Might be coming back soon if I stay here much longer.
Right.
So I have to do a follow-up question that has absolutely nothing to do with the first question. Just wanted to let you know. So if you'd be like, oh, she's going to have a follow-up about, Alabama. And it's going to be like, no. Oh, I lied to you. I do have a follow-up about Alabama. Food. Oh my goodness. How many delicious fried food products have you eaten?
All of them. All of the time. From fried pickles to fried green beans, fried chicken, fried fish. You name it, you can get it fried here.
Oh, that just sounds so good.
Yeah.
I would like some fried green beans. Can you mail them? Will they still be fresh? Okay. Now my follow-up question that has nothing to do with Alabama. What is a literary manager?
So a literary manager represents writers and directors for film and television. And then obviously talent manager represents actors. I have the fortune to be able to do a little bit of both because of the company that I work at. We have both writers, directors, and actors. So I kind of dip my toe into all the different worlds.
Do you have anybody who falls into all of those categories?
A couple, yeah. There are definitely actors who write and direct, and most people who are naturally writers or directors don't go to the acting side. It kind of only works the opposite.
I would have a narcissism question, but I'm wearing a t-shirt today, so I feel like it's not allowed. But
it's not earned. You didn't earn your narcissism today.
Yeah. But I'm a narcissist, so I mean, to stay true to form, I have to ask it anyway and act like I'm still important. I was wondering if you would want a little adorable girl that with makeup that has a red bow in her hair. That's a writer. You know, did you want to like represent one of them? Don't answer that. It was a joke. Move on, Tanya. I can't put that much effort into it. I just can't. I have on a t-shirt.
I do want to know if you are both a talent man or a talent agent and a literary manager. Does it feel like you have two jobs?
Well, so let me clarify the difference. So I work at a management company. I used to be a talent agent. So agents and managers do two different things. But as a manager working in both worlds, yeah, it kind of does feel like I have two different jobs. And I certainly have an extra staff meeting every week because I work in both, both sides. But it's okay because it keeps me creative. Keeps me on my toes, and I find it all very interesting, and I like to have, and also the stuff that my writers are working on may end up helping my actors get jobs.
Right.
So it's all really connected.
So I'm curious, as someone who started out as a writer first and then became an actor, if someone has a screenplay that is getting good buzz, are you someone who is able to negotiate them getting to be a part of that on the other side, on camera as well? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, what you would try to do as a representative is make sure that the writer, if they are also an actor, is attached when you sell the project to star in it. Now, that doesn't always happen because sometimes the buyers want to be able to pick their own actors. So it really all just depends, and all just depends on the writer's willingness to step away from the acting side should the project sell, but they can't be attached as an actor. But it's always the first question to ask. And there are lots of people who write and star in their own projects, mostly on the comedy side.
I'd like to ask a quick question here. Sorry to interrupt. Y'all were having this good thing going. I'm gonna just interrupt because it was just too good without me. Oh my goodness. I'm laughing at my own jokes. It's pathetic. But my question is, for the writers out here who write books, would we be getting a literary manager for book adaptations?
Yes.
Or
absolutely.
are you just a free agent?
No, absolutely. So, not every management company, but many management companies have a book to film television manager that specifically, that's all they do is they take authors and help them sell their books and the rights to their books to film and television. So absolutely. And agencies can do that too. But I do think that managers tend to have more of a hands-on perspective versus an agent who's kind of just taking it out wide and hoping something sticks. Managers typically are a little bit more thoughtful and hands-on.
Thank you so much. Tanya, back to you in studio.
I have a question I hope you don't find uncomfortable. I'm curious, what are the pros and cons of transitioning from a juggernaut agency like ICM Partners to Echo Lake Entertainment?
The major transition is a lot of my clients at the agency already had managers, and managers don't poach from each other. So I did have to leave behind a lot of clients that I built their careers over a decade. Because they already had representation in the management side. So it was a little bit of a starting over point. There were a number of clients that didn't have managers that came with me. And then I just kind of had to start signing again and finding actors that didn't have managers already. And also, the big agencies like ICM and CAA, UTA, William Morris, et cetera, they have big grids that they work from. Their agents cover projects. And so there's just a different access point to information when you go to a management company, which typically are smaller. We have grids and we do have access to information. It's just your contact point becomes a little more personal. You have to work a little harder because you don't have 50 agents covering all the territories. You maybe have 10 managers covering all the territories. And so it's just really important. You have to make sure that your relationships with executives and producers and casting directors are really strong so that you're not sort of left behind with information.
It's always about those relationships, isn't it?
Absolutely. This business is built on relationships.
What is your process for finding talent?
It's actually changed a lot over the years. And hold on, I'm sorry. Something weird is happening with my computer.
So you can pause the interview, answer the email.
No, it's not an email. It just a Zoom popped up and said your session is expired. And I'm like, but I'm still on it. Uh, anyway, so as long as you guys can still hear me and see me.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, so when I was first promoted as a young agent, I would go to all the college showcases. All the colleges that have performing arts programs will typically come to LA or New York and do a showcase where their students, their senior students, do monologues, and you have basically direct access to them because most of them don't have representation yet. So that was sort of, as a younger agent, how I started out. And then as I continued to grow in my career on the agency side, I watched a ton of television, a ton of movies. And as I watched those programs and I saw actors that I would like, I would go look them up to see if they had representation. And if they didn't have an agent, I would call their manager or their lawyer, or if they had an agent and I as a manager, I'd call their agent. So really just, and word of mouth, referrals. A lot of casting directors will say, hey, I just saw this person. They don't have any representation. They're fantastic. You should look into them. So it's kind of a variety of ways of finding talent.
What are some things? I'm curious, what are some things you wish you knew about this business before you got started?
That it really, as a representative, really is 24/7, 365. You have to be accessible to your clients, especially while they're working, in case something goes wrong and you need to advocate for them. And I think I kind of knew that going in, but didn't really know it until you experience it. You're on your vacation on the beach and you need to close a deal. So you get off the beach and go get on your phone and your computer and you close the deal.
That's how you get to have those beach vacations, right?
Exactly. So that's just part of the nature of the job. So it certainly affects how you interact with your personal relationships and your personal life. And there's really, I wish there was a class they could teach on that work-life balance. And I think that probably goes for actors, writers, and directors too. If you're on a set and working 13, 14 hours a day, like how do you balance that work family life or work personal life? And there's not a class, and everyone's different. Everyone has to kind of figure it out on their own. But if there was some advice, I would say just know that that's going to be something you have to really fine tune for yourself.
May I have a question?
Oh, of course.
T-shirt here, and I just still can't believe it. But you spit out some jargon at the beginning of this, and from the book side, I would like to ask quickly, what does it mean to be attached? What is the difference between an agent and a manager, like legally, and what they actually do for the person, and what person would and what other jargon would a author need to know in order to think about selling their script?
Okay, so attached means that it can mean one of two things. It can mean that an actor is contractually attached to a project. They have a closed deal and that project has been sold, and it's not necessarily set up to go right into production, but the actor is attached with a contract in place. There's also a loose attachment, which is where there's no actual contract in place. It's just sort of a verbal or email handshake agreement that says, if you get this project, if it's going to get made, I want to be a part of it. And so those are kind of the two different things, the way to be attached. Like I have a project right now that's an animated half-hour sitcom, and we've got a couple of actors who are attached. We don't have any paperwork with them, but they've been involved in the process. They've done readings. And if we sell it, they say that they want to, be a part of it. Now, at the end of the day, does that mean that they will? Who knows? Do we make a deal? Can we make a deal? Are we going to pay them enough money? Do the dates work out with their schedule? So there's a number of, factors in that. So agent versus manager. An agent is the one who can do the contracts and procure work for the client, along with a lawyer who, not everyone needs a lawyer, depends on what stage you're at in your career. But the agent also works in more mass volume. When I was an agent, I had about 70 clients. As a manager, I have about 20 clients, because as a manager, I'm a lot more hands-on in sort of the cultivation of the career. What are the next right steps? Should we take this project, even though it pays no money, but it's a great project? or do we take the big fancy superhero movie, even though it's a smaller role? Like those kinds of like long-term strategy questions. And the manager oftentimes can produce with their clients. So, you know, the bigger the client gets, the manager may be able to help them get their projects made, and come along as a producer, which is one of the reasons I actually wanted to go into management, is I really was interested in producing and setting up projects. As an author, I think, you know, attachment, you'll learn that if you have interest on one of your books from a studio or a network or a movie studio, they always love if you had an actor attached to it, you know, or a director, or even, you know, if you're not going to write the screenplay itself or the pilot script itself, like writers in mind who you would want to work with, who you think could take your novel and make it into a television show or a movie.
You've inspired me with so many questions to discuss with my manager. Oh, I didn't know I could be asking her about that.
Absolutely.
Oh, that one. Wow. Yeah, that's going to be a long conversation there.
I'm curious, for an actor, do you think that it's better to look for a manager with many of your type on the roster or 0 to none on the roster?
What do you mean, like similar type to
them?
Mean, I personally don't think it matters, as long as the manager is passionate about you and can advocate for you as well as their other clients. I mean, I've had clients in the past, and it's especially happens with younger clients, especially kids. Like the parents don't want the representative to have any other, you know, 12-year-old girls on their roster, because that's a psychological, that's just how it is. I think it's good that the clients that your manager represents, you align with their taste as well. And you think that they're talented, because that means your manager has good taste. But again, like if there were two, you know, I have multiple blonde girls, you know, that are in approximately the same age range, but they're also different. And sometimes they might be submitted for the same project, but oftentimes they're not right for the same project. So I think it's a really personal choice on behalf of the client.
Tanya, one last question to go.
Okay, tell us about Much Love Animal Rescue.
Oh, Much Love Animal Rescue is an organization that I've been involved with for the last, almost 10 years, based in Los Angeles, mostly based in the Santa Monica area. It's a nonprofit that rescues from local city and county shelters, dogs and cats, the occasional bunny. And we have, before COVID, we had weekly adoptions on Sundays in Santa Monica. We focus a lot on dogs that are in the medical unit of the shelters, because those dogs are not available to the public. The public can't go in and get a dog with a medical problem. And those are the ones that have the highest chance of being euthanized. So our organization, which is a completely foster-based program, we don't have our own facility. All of our animals that we pull from the shelter go straight into a foster home so that we can learn more about them and get them adopted to the best family.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful organization.
Lauren, it has absolutely been a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure.
Is there any place that you want people to be able to follow you or to know more about the company that you work for? This is plug time.
Right. You can go on my IMDb page and follow my company and look at my clients. I have an Instagram page as well, Lauren Williams 2014. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Would you like to go ahead and tell people about you and where they can find you?
I am across social media at Ms. Tanya Todd. My website is mstanyatodd.com. You can also find me on IMDb, and my podcast is the 52 Love Podcast, available on YouTube and Spotify. And
when you find Tanya on IMDb, don't forget to click. Oh, by the way, I saw the recent post about your rating. Lovely.
Thank you.
Okay. You can find, I guess it's time for me to wrap us up. Yeah, no, it works. It works because there's two. Yes, it works. Us works. So anyway, you can find out everything that your ladies are doing and a few things that we wish we hadn't done. And yes, when I say that, I actually do mean that. I'm still cleaning up the website of things I wish I hadn't put up there at www.andithoughtlazies.com. When you go to that page, go down to the, the bottom of the page and you can see the charities that we proudly support. You can also support them as well. And we thank you in advance for doing that. Ooh, yo, I finally found a way to say that without using the word support 3 times. Just rewind, listen to it again. Awesomeness. Remember that, wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from the missing Jade and Will Nona. Bye-bye.